This is an important update. A lot of developments have taken place regarding geopolitical tensions and its impact over on global markets, which includes crude oil that has now fallen once more to $87. We can take a look at Bitcoin that's still trending at 70K. Doesn't look the most bullish. We'll cover it in throughout this content where I think Bitcoin will be heading next, as we always do. The breaking news is in a positive direction, and when we have positive talks on geopolitical tensions that may potentially lead to de escalation, the price of crude oil obviously drops. Now, will this new breaking news actually conclude in geopolitical tensions de escalating for good or not? I will share the data and the news that has been spread to the public, and you can come to your own conclusion. I don't want to come to any conclusions, but I'll share my opinions here and there. If you enjoy this content, make sure to subscribe to the Crypto Kid channel for daily Bitcoin and global updates. If you do enjoy the video or learn something by the end of it, do me a favor and destroy the like button. Yes, I got a haircut. I hope I don't look so horrible anymore. If you're looking for a place to be trading Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, check out LavX using the first link in the description down below. And if you want to be trading things like crude oil, WTI, and leverage this volatility, then check out BTCC because you can, as a crypto native person, get exposure to things like crude oil and the S&P 500 and commodities like gold and silver by just signing up with your email address or your phone number. That's it. It will be the second link in the description. Thank you to BTCC, LavX, and our other partners for sponsoring this content. We're in a phase in the market where our technical analysis is basically no match for President Trump's tweets. He does an announcement and markets move accordingly. Last night, well, yesterday morning in Washington, right before President Trump's tweet that encouraged de escalations in tensions and delayed the power plant threats by 5 days, right before that tweet, 15 minutes before, we saw $1.5 billion worth of buying pressure in the S&P. 1.5 billion. This volume is totally abnormal. And to me, it clearly states there's been some sort of insider trading going on. Now, we don't know who, we don't know if it was an institution, we don't know if it was an individual or a group of individuals, but I think there is clear insider trading. It's very, very, very sad that this is happening, and the people that are doing it are likely getting away with it. But it's pretty ridiculous, and I just wanted to point that out. So, what is happening from the breaking news point? What was the latest development today? Well, America and Iran may hold high-level peace talks as soon as Thursday, according to Axios, which is leading to crude oil futures going down. This war has to end as soon as possible for humankind's sake, for mankind's sake. That's one. And number two, much less important, but important because of what we do, which is markets. It's important for markets as well. The bonds are going through the roof. The US 10-year bond, the US 2-year bond, the US 30-year bond, they've all reached to almost, well, at least the 10-year and the 30-year, they've all reached to almost 5%. At 5% for a 30-year bond, that leads to a 7% mortgage rate. If people do not refinance, if people do not sell or buy homes, more importantly, then 15 to 18% of the US economy that relies on real estate experiences a big tank. That means US doesn't grow economically. That puts pressure on the Fed for potential stagflation. We have a partial shutdown already going on, but with inflation expectations still around the 5% territories for the next 12 months, which is ridiculous, the Fed is forced to not cut rates, maybe even hike it once this year. That could lead to a stagflation. That's bad for the S&P 500. I think there is a potential bull case for the S&P, which I want to explore later on. But all of these things that are taking place are really concerning. The national debt is sitting at 39 trillion, $30 billion. 39 trillion, $30 billion. The US still needs to refinance roughly about $9.5 trillion worth of debt, which 6 trillion got rolled over from 2025 into 2026 because the administration was expecting more favorable, more dovish monetary policy, which flipped 180 degrees as soon as the war started. They need to refinance $9.5 trillion. If they do it at the current bond yields and the current interest rates, they're going to pay hundreds of billions of dollars in extra interest for the debt, which President Trump has stated multiple times that he wants to avoid. He wants to avoid. So I think, and the war doesn't help, the war makes that scenario way worse. It adds to the debts and it forces the Fed to not cut rates. Given the point that his approval rate has dropped to the lowest numbers since his second term as president, given the fact that Americans are also against, in majority, to U.S. strikes on Iran, given the fact that crude oils, even though we're seeing a slight correction following this bullish news of potential peace talks on Thursday, still crude oil prices are too high. His approvals are down. They need to refinance a bunch of debts. Even the Japanese bond yields are currently experiencing all-time highs or highest highs since I mean even further than 2008 financial crisis, on almost near 1999 levels. This is threatening $330 billion of capital that's tied up in the Japanese yen carry trade and invested in American markets. If the Japanese bond yields are sitting at 2.3% and the interest rate in Japan is sitting at 0.75%, then it makes no sense for Japanese investors or foreign investors to leverage the carry trade and invest in American equities. No, they'll just stick to Japan and secure their 2.3% yield on Japan's 10-year bonds, right? So in this climate, capital is moving away from markets. You're seeing the shutdown hurt the jobs data, but the Fed can't do anything because they need to keep rates high due to crude oil prices. The approval ratings are low. So I think it is in the favor of President Trump to end this war as quickly as possible in a multitude of different ways of reasoning. Now, how would he end the war? How is he going to frame it? Was it a success in his eyes? Was it not a success in his eyes? We're going to see and watch and learn. If there is going to be actual peace in the short term, we're also going to learn together. We don't know. This is what's presented us today. As you know, President Trump changes his mind quite often. So we don't know. We don't know. In terms of market and positioning with Bitcoin, I'm pessimistic. Like, look at this chart. Let me know in the chats down from below this video. Let me know if this chart looks bullish to you. I want your honest opinion. To me, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't. Can Bitcoin see a move to the upside if war is finished? And I'm praying to God that war does come to an end. I can't care less about markets when the safety of mankind are in picture. But because we commentate on crypto, we'll focus on crypto. If the war ends, can Bitcoin see a relief rally? Then it's possible. I think we can see the 84, potentially even the 90s to the low hundreds. The S&P 500 has a interesting fractal that it's replaying from 1996 to 2001, as you guys know. And when you overlay them perfectly, actually it turns out that there is still space for one more final rally before a full correction. I'm still putting my base case scenario for the S&P as bearish, and that this was most likely the top based off of my perspective. But it's all dependent on the war. If it can come to an end this week, or as soon as it can, then one more final rally, potentially a new all-time high before ultimately crashing in 2027, can be the picture. Will Bitcoin also make a new all-time high in this event? I don't think so. I think there will be a divergence between the S&P and Bitcoin, which will further suggest that the S&P will end up crashing even further. Just keep in mind, we would need to see the war finish, and we would need to see Bitcoin go above 76K, 77K to further suggest that we'll have that relief rally. I won't excite you with that bullish scenario too much because nothing is confirmed. Everything is still up in the air. But keep that in the back of your minds. I'll remind you when the time is right. Breaking news, peace talks potentially can take place on Thursday. President Trump says that Iran has agreed to not have a nuclear weapon. That's huge news. He mentioned that the war has been won. I think we're going to end it. I can't tell you for sure. Israeli Channel 12 said that a one-month ceasefire to be announced under the mechanism being developed by Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Iran said, but all while that these are happening in American media and Israeli media, Iran is saying that there has been no direct talks between US and Iran, and Trump's move was designed to lower energy prices to buy time for his military plans. Could that be true? It technically could. It technically could. The Marines are arriving on Friday, which coincide with the deadline for the extension of the power plant threat. So we don't know what's real, what's not real. President Trump stated that he's been talking to not Khamenei's son. He is talking to other people that he believes have power. We do see that currently the power infrastructure or the political power infrastructure in Iran is decentralized and it's not tied up under one institution. So, look, it's just very hard to say. It's very hard to say what's going to happen. It's still very much uncertain. Iran still has full control over the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump told Iran to give up to give up the control and allow vessels to pass. Clearly, we can see on marine traffic that hasn't happened yet. So I don't know. I don't know. Trump mentioned that he didn't call, that Iran called. They want to make a deal. We are willing to make a deal. This was yesterday, but then on March the 6th, Trump says that there will be no deal until Iran surrenders unconditionally. So many contradictions, so much contradictions. They say that if there is no deal, that they would continue to bomb Iran, and they're giving no clarity on whether if troops will be put in place to Iran. So I honestly don't know. I would be a liar if I told you I know what's happening and what's going to happen. And everybody would be a liar if they said that they know exactly what's going to happen. But this is the breaking news update. I think it's an important update. It's crucial to be watching every single video posted here on this channel from today for at least the next couple of weeks. Please do stick around. I think it's good to know the latest insights. And with Bitcoin, I'm more bearish than bullish. The reasons are obvious. We're in a bearish trend. It's a midterm year. We're in a bear flag. Like the bearish factors outweigh the bullish factors. And as a trader, you trade probability. And the probabilities lie towards with pessimism compared to optimism. If we break above 76, we can talk again. But for now, I am in a bearish state of mind. Tomorrow, I'm going to be uploading a video that talks about BitTensor, or maybe that's going to be on the weekend. But tomorrow, I'm going to upload a video that talks about tokenization and digital commodities. You need to watch that video. Stay tuned. Take care. Love you all. Stay safe. And I'll see you all very soon. Bye, everyone.